これ何？これポラロイドカメラ？
Sachiko had found an old oversized instant camera lying somewhere around here and was holding it triumphantly in her hands.
眩しい。びっくりした。まだ使えるんだね。
This time we're wide awake. Yep.
持って行ってもいい？いいけど重いよ。
Is YouTube running well? Alright, everything's working. Good. Good.
大丈夫。嬉しいな。
I'm streaming on YouTube also, so I was watching to see if that stream was working. Smiling from ear to ear, Sachiko carefully examined every inch of the camera. She was an innocent little girl with a brand new toy.
お姉ちゃん、幸子疲れちゃった。この布団使えたら一休みしようか。
Carefully tiptoeing across the litter-strewn floor, nursing my sore and bloodied foot the whole while, I snaked my way over to the futons. I didn't much like the idea of sleeping in the same room as a dead child, but I had to admit, I was pretty exhausted too.
ちょっと湿っててカビ臭いけど、敷いたら横になれるよ。眠い。よし、じゃあ今敷くからね。
As soon as the futon was on the ground, as flat as it would go, Sachiko sprawled out on it. It wasn't long before her eyes started drooping. I was saying before, like, when I was playing earlier, that she seems normal like this, you know? When she acts this way. Just seeing this innocent little girl joyously stretching out to take a nap was enough to lift my spirits and renew my hope.
幸子ちゃんがいてくれてよかった。ありがとうお姉ちゃん。
Yeah, she's keeping this up for a long time, this act.
こちらこそだよ、幸子ちゃん。だって今ここにあなたがいてくれなかったら。
She fell asleep. She really must have been tired. She was out like a light the second her head touched the bedding.
かわいいな、もう。床も寝よう。ずっと歩いてたし。目覚めたらお家だといいな。
I woke to find myself being shaken. Sachiko was trying to get me up. Her expression had gone white as a sheet.
お姉ちゃん、お姉ちゃん。何？
She was on the verge of tears. Something seemed to have really spooked her. Did that huge man find us? Was she attacked?
どうしたの？落ち着いて話して。 髪留めなくしちゃったの。髪留め？起きたらなかったの。なんだ、そんなことか。そんなこと？ごめんね、もっと怖いことかと。どこに落としたの？すぐ探せばあるよ、きっと。
The two of us searched every last inch of the room, me with the wounded foot, but we came up empty-handed.
幸子ちゃん、お姉ちゃんはどうすればいいかな？
The entire time we searched, Sachiko hadn't said a word. I was hoping invoking our sisterly bond might cheer her up.
髪が目に入って痛い。その髪飾りちょうだい。
She raised her right hand slowly and pointed to my headband.
これは、ごめんね。これはあげられないの。
She's trying to take everything we have. Socks, shoes. As soon as I refused, Sachiko let out a faint, otherworldly groan. The next moment, her face distorted and changed. She no longer looked like an innocent little girl. She looked, well, and truly like a demon now.
幸子ちゃん？よこせ。
She's like two different people. It's crazy.
よこせ。
I looked her in the eyes. The look in her eyes alone sent chills down my spine. These were the eyes of someone who meant harm and was perfectly capable of inflicting it.
どうしよう。
Okay, save it. We're not gonna give it to her. We'll see what happens. Sachiko was continuing to groan under her breath. Fearing what she might be capable of, I desperately tried to console her.
幸子ちゃん、聞いて、幸子ちゃん。これはお母さんに買ってもらったばかりの大事なものなの。だからお母さん？
Somehow or another, that seemed to quell her anger. Her facial expression snapped back into that of a gentle, kind girl. The one I'd been talking to this whole time.
そうなの。だからあげられなくてごめんね。お母さんからの？
She was oddly receptive to this explanation, and even seemed fascinated by it. Maybe I had caused her to remember something about her own mother. She was a little girl after all, so her mom was probably really dear to her in life.
お母さん、お母さん。
She looked like she was on the verge of tears again. I was beginning to feel bad that I'd even broached the subject.
ごめんね。いいの。
I can't even tell if that was real. Like, maybe? She still seemed a bit sad, but she nodded. Maybe she understood that I couldn't give her my headband. And maybe she was okay with it. We do know that she really cared about her mother, though. That we do know.
ねえ、幸
We know that's true.
幸子ちゃん。ねえ、幸子ちゃん。
She wasn't even looking at me anymore. Must have really upset her.
あのね、幸子ちゃん。カチューシャはあげられないけど、他のものならいいよ。他のもの？私にできることなんて少ないけど、他のもの。じゃあここ。でもここは。
She's a mama's girl. She actually is, huh?
もう入りたくない。
She wants us to go back in that room.
幸子ちゃん。
Without a moment's hesitation, Sachiko just opened up the door and walked in. I didn't even have an opportunity to stop her.
どうしよう。
The first thing I noticed when I entered the room was Sachiko's form. Sprawled out on the ground at the foot of the body pool. She was twitching a bit and moaning again. This time it sounded more like a moan of pain than of anger. So she's on the ground in front of this pool, twitching and moaning right now. Sachiko.
幸子ちゃん。幸子ちゃん、大丈夫？幸子ちゃん。
I stepped over her and turned around, so as to put the decaying bodies behind my back and out of my sight, then started shaking her. I felt like I absolutely needed to snap her out of whatever this was before something terrible happened.
お姉ちゃん。よかった。気がつ。
I could feel her tiny cold hands on my abdomen. The thin cloth of my skirt. She was pushing me backwards with tremendous force.
触るな。
I lost my balance almost instantly and toppled over. Somehow felt like fall occurred in slow motion. The walls and ceiling of the room grew more and more distant, but it happened gradually. She's falling backwards. Then I fell. I felt the murky liquid on my back and heard the splash. I was in the pool of bodies. Because I'd fallen backwards, it took me far too long to regain my bearings. I was submerged in that horrible tainted water, close to drowning. I finally broke through the surface, dodging the many dislodged eyeballs that were floating on it like peas in chicken soup. Each one wrapped in dull red, bulging veins. I didn't even want to think about what was in the water that I swallowed. Unfortunately, most of it was still on my tongue. My mouth was filled with tiny bits and pieces of other human beings. The taste was overpowering. That is disgusting. I was gagging and belching so hard. I felt like I was going to regurgitate all of my organs. I tried to scream, but I could barely get any sound past the foul, lumpy stew in my mouth. I was losing consciousness fast, and I remember silently praying, silently hoping that this was all just a dream. As the world faded around me, I just kept focusing on that one last wish. Please let me wake up in my bed. I had no other choice. I grabbed Sachiko's outstretched arm, and I marveled again at her strength as she effortlessly pulled me out of the water. My entire body, from head to toe, was covered in sticky, goopy chunks of unidentifiable human flesh from countless different people.
お姉ちゃん、頭にも何かついてるよ。何か
Slowly, hesitantly, I raised my hand to my head to feel around and determine what this something might be. I wasn't looking forward to the answer. What I felt was a huge clump of matter stuck to my hair, and just touching it lightly caused some of it to stick to my hand as well. It was a massive ball of fingers and toes. Oh, God.
やだー。お姉ちゃん、まだついてるよ。
The severed digits were all so sticky and slimy that they'd gotten completely wrapped up in my hair like rollers. They weren't coming out easily. These toes and fingers are wrapped in her hair, like hair rollers.
落ち着いてお姉ちゃん。お姉ちゃん。
I must have passed out. God. Oh, that was like too much for a second. That's crazy. Oh. All right. I must have passed out. When I came to, I was lying on the ground with Sachiko looking over me. This is crazy.
お姉ちゃん、ごめんなさい。
She was on the verge of tears again. But wasn't that her voice I heard giggling at me? If not, then whose was it?
気のせいだったのかな。
That had to be it. This sweet little girl couldn't possibly have been that twisted.
うん、大丈夫だよ。
She was my little sister now, after all. I had to take care of her. I had to look after her.
お姉ちゃん遅いよ。待って幸子ちゃん。どうしちゃったんだろう。足が重い。お姉ちゃん汚い。もっと離れてよ。
I looked down at my uniform. Sure enough, it was soaked through with the blood of those poor victims in the body pool. It smelled really awful.
そうだよね。ごめんね。
You're right, it is red. It's at 100. Oh no. I didn't recall saying that, or even trying to say that. It's like my mouth was moving on its own. Someone else, speaking someone else's thoughts.
お姉ちゃんってほんとのろまだよね。うん、ほんとだね。
If this was how she was going to treat me, then why was I being so nice to her? Why was I doing whatever she asked of me? It was bothering me, and yet it wasn't. I honestly didn't care anymore. I was content just to follow this abusive little girl to the ends of the earth. How long had I been walking? I wondered.
幸子ちゃん、まだ歩くの？
I was following Sachiko, despite myself. I had no idea how much time had passed, but it felt like an eternity. And she'd completely stopped answering any of my questions.
もういいや。
She came to a halt.
どうしたの、幸子ちゃん。
She turned and looked up at me with wide, innocent eyes.
幸子ね、欲しいものがあるの。何？
What was it gonna be this time? I honestly didn't want to know, but the question came out of my mouth anyway, and so did this.
幸子ちゃんになら何でもあげるよ。じゃあ次はね、命をちょうだい。命？
Somehow, some part of me knew this was coming. It was only a matter of time.
それはダメし
Once again, I couldn't seem to control the words coming out of my mouth. It just said whatever it wanted to say, regardless of how I felt.
私の命あげるの？
Oh no. She was laughing again. It was wild, crazy laughter. She was ecstatic.
どうして？何でもくれるんだよね。お姉ちゃんだもん。ね。
Sachiho's smile almost seemed to twinkle in the dull light of the corridor. She had the face of an angel, but it was all just a mask.
怖い怖い怖い。やだよ。
I mustered all the strength I had, trying with whatever life was left in me to denounce her words and resist her pull. There was no hope for me anymore. I still clung to what I could. If I could just reject her statement and tell her she was wrong.
ダメ。は？冗談はやめてね。早くお兄ちゃんを探そう。お兄ちゃんならきっと何とかしてくれるからね。だからお兄ちゃんを。お兄ちゃん？そうだよ。私はお兄ちゃんみたいになれないけど頑張るから。お兄ちゃんお兄ちゃんってうるさいんだよ。早くよこせ。殺してやる。殺して殺して殺して首に殺してやる。早く死ねー。幸子ちゃん。
She's choking her. My body shook and spasmed uncontrollably. I was being taken over by an invisible force. It was compelling me to speak, to say what would be my very last words on this earth. A suicide note, when you get right down to it. Oh, she's trying to make her speak.
しょうがないな。いいよ。 ちゃんにあげる。
It was instantaneous. With one single blow, my skull was cracked wide open and blood spattered far and wide. Oh my gosh. I could feel the blood trickle out from my nostrils in my right ear. My brain was jutting out from the inside of my head, fully exposed to the air. But I was still conscious. I could still feel everything. I saw a bright flash of light and realized she'd just taken a picture of me with that camera she'd been holding on to.
綺麗な写真が撮れた。
Oh my god.
いやしい女。
Sachiko was such a cute little girl before, but now her face was twisted into a hateful, spiteful grimace as she looked down on me in contempt.
そうだ。これお兄ちゃんに見せてあげよう。何でもくれるって言ったでしょ。もう私のお兄ちゃん。
That's savage. Sachiko began petting my sticky, matted hair with her coarse, sticky hands in a mockery of my previous gentleness with her.
汚い顔。本当はこれを取り上げるのが目的だったんだよね。
My scrap of paper. From the charm?
お姉ちゃんとはまた遊びたいから、ファクトにはしないであげる。また遊ぼうね、ゆかお姉ちゃん。
Jeez. That was actually the clear. I don't even know what to say after that one. That was brutal. What did we unlock? Was it this one? Yeah. That one just felt bad. Like they all felt bad, but you know, jeez.
コープスパーティーブックオブシャドウズをお楽しみいただきました皆さん、ありがとうございました。そしてこんにちは、持田ゆかです。本当に怖くて、ゆか何度もおしっこもではゆかからクリアしてくれた皆さんにおめでとうプレゼントです。この日のためにいっぱい練習しました。どうか聴いてください。歌です。
Okay. Alright, go. That was it. We're in the last chapter now. One more. Let's see if we can find out about this book in this final chapter. Yakudan Senior High School, Student Council Room, 4:30 p.m.
おい生徒会長、明日だぞ。
The next game on my list? Yeah, I have a few. There's actually another game I want to play too.
何がだ?
It looked pretty interesting. So I'll do the next corpse party in that one as well.
蹴り入れていい？
却下、何があるんだ明日。こら、生徒会室で暴力行為は禁則と定めたろう。
知るもんか。忘れてる方が悪いもん。
やめなきゃ。こちらに非があるなら謝罪する。まず聞こうじゃないか。
この部屋の徹底掃除だよ。見てこれ。何これ。片付けろっつうの。何この玉入れのやつじゃん。体育祭いつだったよ。
ああ、そういえばそんなことを言っていたか。一体
You want to? I'll show you actually. Let me see. So this is the next one I'll be playing, along with the next corpse party.
「忘れてたでしょ。
You seen that one before? Yeah.
いや、記憶はしていた。僕も美月の意向には。
普通に喋れ。
ああ、忘れてたさ。俺だっていろいろ考えることがあって忙しかったんだよ。会長だからって何でもかんでもみんな俺んとこ持ってくるしさ。悪かったな。
Mystery murder game, yeah. I played part 1 on my channel, like the full playthroughs on there, on my YouTube channel. So that's his sequel. The girl is much older now. She was a little girl in the first game. So I'm looking forward to continuing that story.
なんだ。
初期としての進言です。たまには言い訳くらいした方がいいよ。
Yeah, looks good.
男らしい生徒会長もかっこいいけどさ。
美月。
Yeah, I played it before I started streaming. I only started streaming about maybe a month ago, I think. So I would have streamed it.
だが戦線離脱は許さないからな。逃げられると思うなよ。
わかった。
わかんねえやつだな、ともひろ。ミンコは俺の嫁だっつってんだろ。
いや、譲らないぞ。涼介にはナナさんって人がいるだろ。二股とかマジないわ。
バカ、3人からモテて初めてリア充だろ。上皇。
楽しそうだねそれ。ゲーム？
おお、山本、お前もやる？タッチペンでグリグリしてチューするゲーム。女の子3人と付き合えるぜ。
何？
ハマるのはいいけど一人に絞れ。
These are the students. That's Mitsuki, Fukuroi. Yeah, it should be pretty good. The sequel.
いって。
Looking forward to it.
あんたら明日のこと覚えてるんだろうね。
I think there's a third game to that series coming. I'm not sure. I heard rumors of like a third game. I'm like, I haven't even beaten the second yet.
何でしたっけ？
Okay, I want to see the main cast now. I had no idea any of this was going on in the student council room that day. I had other things on my mind. Specifically, a certain boy. His name was Toko Kirisaki. I've been waffling for quite some time now on whether or not to say anything, but finally, I decided to bite the bullet and ask his best friend Kurosaki.
彼女いるの？
I wonder if it's gonna show how they ended up there, if that's what they're doing here.
あ、いや、あいつ今フリーだと思うよ。なんで？
狙っちゃおっかななんて。
Just trying to make sure she don't step on any toes.
マジ？おお、いいじゃん、応援するよ。でもあいつな、女の子といてもいっつもつまんなそうにしてるから、付き合えても切り先があんまり楽しくないかもしれない。
でも確かにゆうやってモテる割に手とか全然出してこないって女子はみんな言ってるな。
What does she mean by touched anyone?
それって悪い印象？
That's a weird way to put it.
クリーンなイメージ。
This was Kinsuke Kurosaki, who'd known Yuya Kizami, aka Kizami, the boy that I liked pretty much his whole life. I figured I'd come to him for all the information I needed in my conquest, since he was pretty much guaranteed to know Yuya's dating history. And so far, things seem to be going really well. I mean, not only did I confirm Yuya wasn't seeing anyone, but I got his best friend's blessing too. So she likes that guy who was like the psychopath. And confirmed that he really wasn't the showy, obnoxious, cool guy type. That suited me just fine.
黒崎こら
Wait!
Kurosaki was understandably rather startled by the extraordinary, agitated female voice that suddenly rang from behind us. But that's Hellgirl Mitsuki for you. She was standing in the classroom door, arms folded across her chest, looking like some angry deity about to cast judgment down on the world. She has bad taste. She's a bad judge of character, that's for sure. But he did say he pretends to be normal, right? So he doesn't act that way in public. So she had that deathly gleam in her eyes, the one that could easily fell the mightiest warrior before he even had a chance to draw his sword.
今日は生徒会室の徹底掃除するから来なさいって言ったでしょ。
いや、俺今日部活だって言ったじゃん。おい、フクロイなあ。
逆らうな。もう無理だ。
Yeah, this was definitely Hellgirl's work. All the complexion was gone from Fukuroi's face. He was a man with a demon on his back. Whip at the ready, fully prepared to bring divine punishment upon all who opposed her. He was right. It was easier just to give in.
面白そう。私も行く。おお、手は多いほど良いぞよ。
Mitsuki then grabbed the nape of Kurosaki's neck and began dragging him out the door in a decidedly painful-looking manner. He was like a teary-eyed chick caught in the talons of a bird of prey. Struggling in vain as he was being carried off to meet his grisly end.
俺生徒会じゃないのに。
I just loved watching those boys interact with Hellgirl Mitsuki. I couldn't wait to see more. I didn't even care if I had to clean in order to do it. I was a volunteer after all, so I was pretty much off the hook here. I could follow them at my own pace. No dragging for me. So who is this? Who are we playing currently? Who is this girl? As soon as we left the classroom though, we ran into Yuya. Or rather, I did. As in, I literally ran into him. I wasn't watching where I was going and wound up slamming into him so hard that I fell over. Satoshi, a gentleman. Yeah, Satoshi seems very popular with the girls. Immediately, he reached out his hand to help me up and asked if I was alright. Now that's a white knight if I've ever seen one. What a fun evening this would be. I imagined it ending with me lying in bed dreaming of Yuya's perfect face, inching ever closer to mine. But instead, oh, it's her. It's her. Toko.
大丈夫トコ
She likes Kizumi.
いいよ全部吐いちゃったら楽にな
Yeah,
る
the
よ
frozen girl. The one who ran off, panicking. It's the final episode. Tooth. We're gonna get some kind of answers to something in this episode. The stall door seemed to be stuck and absolutely will not open anymore. But I was just in there. Maybe the lock somehow jammed when I left? This guy in the red hair, I don't remember him. This guy with the red hair.
陽介陽介痛いか痛いか
膝と大腿部の関節を縛った。出血は抑えられるはずだ。
I believe we've seen him before, I just don't remember him.
足も持ってきてるから心配するな。
Oh, it's me. How could I not have recognized him? We were in an old-fashioned school, run down, and probably condemned school building. None of us knew how we got here, nor even where here was. I'd just emerged from the girls' room with Emi after losing my lunch, where Yuya, Okawa, Katayama, and Shimada were waiting. The whole hallway was an absolute bloodbath for what just happened. where Katayama walked into some kind of booby trap, and half of his right leg was lopped off. From the knee down, it looked excruciating. What? That's crazy. How is someone supposed to handle a situation like this? Why did this have to happen at all?
なんなんだよこの学校。なんで罠とか仕掛けてあるんだ。つうかどこだよここ。ふざけんなよ。
静かにしてよ。涼介大怪我してんだぞ。
あ？なんだおい。やんのかこれ。
This is what tagging along with Mitsuki and the others got me. I thought it was gonna be a laugh riot, and at first it was great. We all went to the student council room where we met Katayama, Shimada, Emi, and started cleaning and goofing around. And when we were done, Emi suggested we all try out this new charm she discovered on the internet. She's nuts for that kind of thing. So this is Emi's fault that they're here. She took out this simple white paper doll, and we were all kind of fascinated. So we did as we were instructed, and then suddenly everything went dark. There was a violent shaking, and then we were here, in this old school building. No explanation.
とにかく出ようよここ。みんなで一緒にここを出よう。玄関に行こう。
片山は
俺が背負う。
Yuya was so kind. You can always count on boys in times like this. Still, there was a potential problem with this course of action.
待って。でも今みたいな罠とかさあったら危ないよ。人を背負ってたらとっさに動けないし。だけどだからまずは外までの道の安全を確保してから片山くんを連れに戻ってきた方がいいと思うんだ。
She wants to leave him.
賛成だ。
そっか。
涼介大丈夫だぞ。お前を置いてったりしないな。
So she likes him. That's what's going on here. Okawa was in a state of absolute panic. He just kept muttering to himself at Katayama's side. The two of them had always been extremely close. It's only natural he'd be worried. Though his concern kind of bordered on an obsession.
でもじゃあ誰が行くの？通路を歩いてるだけでいきなり足が切り飛ばされるんだよ。
お前今玄関行こうっつったじゃねえか。行ってこいよ。
Shimada practically spit his answer at her. Sure, he had a pretty face, but that's basically all he had. People like him just pose as models in men's journals. That's a weird way to put it, men's journals? Just see me magazines or something. But they're not good for much else. He got a lot of girls too, but I'm not one of them. I could never get past his awful attitude. It's such a huge turnoff for me when guys act this way. Not that I don't admire speaking with confidence and force. I try to do it myself whenever I can. But there's a difference between speaking forcefully and speaking in a way that belittles others. Shimada was basically just cold and uncaring.
私が行くよ。言い出すっぺだし。どこ？
俺も行こう。
What a difference, like night and day. Kind, thoughtful people like him don't make flippant remarks. They just man up and get stuff done. I was crushing on him harder than ever. Because now, not only did I think he was both cool and hot, this girl, man, I also gained a ton more respect for him.
大人数で行く必要はない。行くならあと一人くらいだ。どうする？
Everybody just looked at one another, then looked away as if they were ashamed of themselves.
俺はどうしよう、涼介。寂しいよな。
He was frantically shifting his gaze from one person to another. I'd never seen him so on edge before. Finally, the silence was broken with a loud, shrill male voice. Definitely not from whom I would have picked.
くそ、俺が言ってやるよ。お前はここにいろ。
いいの？女子の桐崎さんが行くって言ってるのに、
俺が行く。ヘタレはここで待ってろ。邪魔になる。
分かった。俺は。
じゃあ行こう。急がないと片山マジで危ないし。気をつけてね。
Wait, hold on. That's Emmy, the girl with the glasses. Okay. I don't think the girl with the glasses likes him. Toko likes him. And as long as I had any willpower left in me, I wasn't about to give up. Toko, the one that we're playing. Okay. Love is blind. She can fix him. Apparently. Plus, it didn't hurt that Yu was with me. So I knew everything was going to turn out just fine. So this is our character. She has a ponytail. I can't remember if we saw her before or not. Toko. The word infirmary was written on the plate above the door. Somehow the room just felt like it was deserted. I was oddly confident about that. Not sure why I felt that way, to be honest. But for good measure I shouted, "Is anybody there?" We still hadn't found Mitsuki after all. I didn't hear her call back though. So really, we had no business in this room whatsoever. Wait, was that a key sticking out of the lock? Who would have locked the door, but left the key? What would be the point?
お、なんだこれ。扉に鍵刺さってるぜ。
何してんの？
中に化け物でもいたら大変だろ。出てこれないようにしてやった。
その鍵どうするのよ。
俺が持っとくよっと。
危ないな、投げないでよ。
キャッチうめえだろっと。まだ高く投げられるぜ。
Pain in the ass. Shimada was such a pain in the ass. I really couldn't stand that guy. She really hates him, huh?
ふっと。
しつこい、分かったからやめて。
ここ天井高えな。よし。ふっ。な。ああ、どこ行った？まあいいや。知らね。
And now the infirmary was cut off from us. If we needed it. Brilliant. I rushed over to the door, hopeful yet afraid, knowing it might not open, but praying this horrid place would show us at least a little mercy. Gingerly, I raised my hand and pushed on it. It swung open without the slightest hesitation. It seemed almost too easy. Wait, she said it opened. That's a first. It was unnaturally dark outside, and the rain was coming down so hard that peeking my head out for a moment left my uniform completely soaked. Shimada pushed past me, throwing the door open even wider with his usual lack of regard for anyone and anything around him. My clothes went from soaked to drenched in a matter of seconds. If I were to actually walk out into this, I felt like I'd drown.
なんだこりゃ。真っ暗だぞ。森？
ひどい雨。こんな中外に出て行ったら服びしょ濡れになりそう。
そりゃ見てみてえな。
けど外に出られることは分かったね。片山たち連れに戻ろう。
What the heck, man?
ゆうや。
Despite our having found a way out, Yuya's demeanor hadn't changed one bit. He was standing back in the hall, where he could watch over us, while also keeping an eye out for anyone else who might have happened by. The motto of maturity. Shimada, on the other hand.
頑張れよ。俺はもう出るぞ。こんなわけわかんねえところとっとと出るに限るぜ。片山のところになんか戻らねえよ。
マジで言ってる？
当たり前だバカ。脳なしから順番に死ぬようになってるんだよ。あんな奴ら放っとけよ。
びっくり。いいんだこんなやつ。
よう桐崎、お前も来いよ。
The tone in his voice said it all. He'd hit the ultimate low. After abandoning his friends to save his own hide, he was now basically propositioning me.
お前には死んでほしくないんだ。前から大事に思ってたからさ。
With an obviously rehearsed and truly sickening pickup line. He really was the slime ball to end all slime balls.
信じらんない。何お前、こっち見んなよ。
I couldn't believe he had the nerve to pull something like this. Felt like that may have been the first time I'd ever truly yelled at someone. I was absolutely livid. And he wasn't even done. No, he still had plenty of salt left to throw on the wound.
うるせえブス、調子乗ってんなよ。せっかく行かせてやろうと思ったのによ。後悔しろや。
死ねえ。こいつマジ切れる。行こう、ゆうや。
My head was swimming. I was scared. I was angry. I was sad. Every negative emotion brought to the forefront, and every positive emotion pushed away. I didn't look back. I just turned away from Shimada, walked over to Yuya's side, and continued past him into the hallway. Yuya had been watching all of this unfold from the other side of the room, and for a moment, he just stood there staring blankly at Shimada.
あ？何見てんだよ。消えろよ、能面野郎。
Shimada drew a large knife from his breast pocket. Its tip struggled to glisten in the dull light of the room, but it did ultimately succeed. He began waving it around like a dumbass, probably thinking it made him look more menacing. You know, I wonder if that's the knife, if that's where Yuya gets the knife from, this guy.
見ろよこれ。昨日買ったんだよ。使えそうだろ？いろいろ。
お前は本当に面白いな。
あいつ女10人くらいいるんだよ。信じられる？何が大事に思ってたよ。どんだけ女の子バカにしてんの。マジ許せない。
10 girlfriends. was indignant. I was fuming. I just kept cursing and mumbling as I fast walked back to the 3rd floor to meet up with the others. And all the while, Yuya was keeping pace with me, saying nothing at all. Always the model of maturity, always even-tempered. He really was like a rock. Or maybe he found my mutterings annoying and was just keeping quiet so I'd do the same. I didn't like that possibility one bit, so I mentally slapped myself on the cheek, forced positivity in my voice, and tried to engage him in cheery banter.
ゆうやはその点誠実だよね。女の子傷つけたこと一回もないでしょ。超モテるのに悪い噂聞いたことないもん。ある意味すごいよ。
This girl's kind of shallow. I looked him square in the eyes, as if asking him, "Isn't that right?" And for a moment, his eyes did meet mine, but then they went right back to the hall. Was he not used to receiving compliments? From women? That seemed hard to believe.
よくわからない。
Yeah, he doesn't even know what she's saying. He's not interested. What a cute, innocent response. I must have come across as bipolar to him, or something. 1 second, I try to lighten the mood with small talk or compliments, and then I start starting to feel scared of the school again, or angry at Shimada, or sad for Katayama. My mind just couldn't make up what its mind wants to feel. What? My mind couldn't make up its mind what to feel. That's quite a sentence.
美月だよね、今の声。下の階だ。
Mitsuki's voice echoed up from below, but our friends were waiting for us. For a moment, I wasn't sure which direction to go, but only for a moment. The fact is, our friends were very, very close, so close that it would be foolish not to tell them what was going on before chasing after Mitsuki.
急ごう。エミや片山たち連れてみんなで下に行こうよ。
Yuya just nodded and began running up the stairs, and I was right behind him.
お待たせ。出口見つかったよ。さあ、みんな行こう。
I was out of breath, staring down at the ground and talking to what I assumed would be 3 very attentive friends. But then I looked up. They were all there, but there was no immediacy, no urgency on anyone's face. Emi and Okawa weren't even looking at me, nor at Yuya, but at Katayama. They were fixated on his face, and each bore a sad expression filled with hopelessness and emptiness, and they certainly weren't about to get moving. There was a general heaviness in the air. Something was very wrong. I gently reached out my hand to touch Emmy's shoulder.
どうしたの？どこ？ダメ。片山くん、どんどん衰弱してる。
涼介、喋らなくなったよ。
Can they not wrap it up in something?
どうしよう。
Like his leg? Or do something about it?
涼介、
Emmy's eyes were filled with tears. Okawa was cradling Katayama's head and looked like he'd been crying this whole time. His eyes were bright red and his nose was running. Yuya, still saying nothing, just walked over to Katayama's side, bent down and began examining his wound.
ゆうや。
急いだ方がいい。
The four of us silently but unanimously agreed that our best course of action was to pick up Katayama, bring him out through the exit we discovered. And we had to be very, very quick about it, or he really would die. I could tell just by looking at him that his time was almost up.
木神くん、背負える？
あ、背に乗せるのを手伝ってくれ。
涼介、頑張れ。みんなが助けてくれるぞ。
As this was all going on, I had that nagging feeling that I was forgetting something. Of course, Mitsuki. We had to go find her. We couldn't just leave her behind after all. Come on, Mitsuki, where did you go?
ゆうや、どうしよう。私、2階ちょっと見てきていい？美月の声が気になるんだ。遠くに行っちゃったら。
He didn't even have to say anything this time. His eyes told the whole story. Got it. I know I can trust you with this task, they said. And that was enough for me. I shot off down the hall like a bullet. I was determined to find Mitsuki and rejoin everyone en route. I hurried down the second floor. But Mitsuki's voice was coming from even farther down. I'd have to keep going to the first floor, ahead of the others. All right. Where are you, Mitsuki? We can't go this way. There's a large hole in the ground. 2% darkening so far. Alright, so they're up here. Just wanted to make sure. She definitely went down then, down here.
さっき美月の声が聞こえた場所から考えると、これ以上先だと聞こえないよね。戻ってみよう。さっき美月の声が聞こえた場所から考えると、これ以上先だと。
And then where is she? What?
戻ってみよう。
What the hell? Mitsuki, where'd you go? Huh? If I keep running in circles like this, I'd never find her. I was in a state of panic, and I was allowing it to steer my path. Frustrated with the situation, and with myself for choosing to give up and head back empty-handed, I forced myself to stop and turn. I was gonna do what I should have done in the first place. Call out Mitsuki's name with everything I had in me, and hope she'd respond.
美月どこ？みんないるよ。
No answer. Just cold, lonely sounds of rain and wind bearing down on this old, dilapidated building. Okay. This may have been a fairly large school, but sound traveled well in here. If she were anywhere in this hallway, I'm sure she would have heard me. And if she were just here minutes ago, she definitely should have been around now. Could something have happened to her?
美月
This is like the only reason we're not leaving this place right now. We're trying to progress is because of Mitsuki. Oh boy. Can't even cross it. What the hell was that? What had just appeared in front of me? From the looks of it, you're another victim dragged here against your will, no? Well, I'll tell you now. There's no escape from this school. There is nothing to be gained but despair. Though you've got an iron will, you might be able to survive for a little while at least. Of course there's a go. Yeah, this girl is not the brightest, right? It'll help keep the wandering spirits at bay. So take it, get out of here, and fight like hell. Stay alive as long as you possibly can. The spirit vanished, but lying on the floor below was a gemstone. A violet colored gemstone, probably amethyst. So I can use that to keep wandering spirits at bay, huh? I guess he meant the full-bodied ones. Or it would have kept him at bay too. So it's some sort of protection. What's up, potato? Of course, he said there was no escape from here, but it was my prerogative to believe that I wanted to believe and ignore what I wanted to ignore. Why does she talk like this? It was my prerogative to believe what I wanted to believe and ignore what I wanted to ignore. And what is she? Oi. Jeez. Alright, let's go back. Hopefully this protects us from that little kid. Alright, move, kid. It appears to be a ghost of a young boy. Held the amethyst in front of me and approached the spirit. He vanished. It worked. Incredibly, it actually worked. Both the ghost and the gem faded and disappeared. The stairwell was now free to be traversed.
大丈夫。さっきまでそこに幽霊みたいなのがいてさ。みんなは早く片山連れて出よう。
Don't tell me he died. Amy's face was absolutely wrecked with tears, and she was shaking her head violently. She wanted to tell me something, but the words weren't coming out. I had a really bad feeling about this. I ran past her to the bathrooms, where Katayama was being lifted into Yuya's shoulders when I left. Katayama was on the floor, right where we set him through this whole ordeal. Why wasn't he on Yuya's shoulders? What was going on? I had an inkling, but I didn't want to believe it. So I pushed it out of my mind.
ゆうや、みんな何してるの？早く片山連れてかなきゃ。会わなかったよ。
What?
さっきトウコが降りた後、すごい声を上げて。そう。
I didn't know what else to say. A person had just died. Not some stranger, but a person I knew. A friend. It was the strangest feeling. I kept looking at him and thinking, is he really dead? Is this really what a person looks like when he dies? Seeing him like that drained every last bit of energy I had in me. I fell to my knees, thoroughly defeated.
大川くん、片山くんから離れないって。どうすればいいの？
Mimi and I couldn't stay near the body. We'd gone down to the second floor where we picked a corner and just stood there, trying to recompose ourselves. Yuya elected to stay with Okawa on the third floor. I guess to try and break him from his shock and help put some distance between him and Katayama. None of this felt real. Or maybe I just didn't want it to be real. It was a nightmare. It had to be. I'd just sit up in my bed and it would all be over.
どうしてこんなことになっちゃったんだろう。冷めないね。おかしいな。冷めないの。さっきから夢だと思おうとしてるんだけど。トウコ。
My energy was waning again. I sank to the ground, landing on my knees. He followed my lead and put an arm around me in comfort. A friend just died. He just died. God, why? What? Amy and I looked up at each other. We both heard them, footsteps, coming down the hall. It was too dark to make out who it was, but the Galt was decidedly male. The gate. The two of us slowly and quietly rose to our feet. He just checked out, man. AFK too long. We hid around the corner and peeked out, both terrified and curious as to whom or what we might see. There, at the end of the hall, the figure finally came into view. It was a tallish man, steadily teething as he slowly strode towards us. It was Shimada, rinsed from head to toe.
島田くん。
We shot forward, intending to run towards him, but I grabbed her arm and held her back without even thinking about it. She turned and looked at me with a puzzled expression.
あいつ、私無理。
まさかなんかされたの？
うん。
よかった。こんな時だし、起こったことだけでも伝えておかないと。
She looked back at me again as she said this, staring right into my eyes. And in a disciplinary manner, it was the perfect guilt stare. I couldn't help but succumb to it, feeling bad for not having filled her in about the Shimada incident. Shimada continued his slow, wet walk down the hall. Then, all of a sudden, for no discernible reason, he simply fell forward, landing hard on his knees. Something was wrong with him. And while I loathed the man, I didn't want to see him suffer. Amy and I were both poised to rush to his aid, when others figure randomly appearing all around him. When other figures randomly began appearing around him, figures of children, blue and ethereal, shimmering with their own light. Oh, he is screwed. It looks like he tried to run into the woods, but he couldn't find his way out, so he came back. But something happened. We could barely even see Shimada from our vantage point anymore. His body was obscured almost completely by the backs of these ghost children. He wasn't moving. It didn't seem like they were doing anything to him. But then he wasn't moving at all, which seemed highly suspicious. It occurred to me that maybe we should try to save him. I inched forward. He was still in exactly the same position he was and had been when he fell to his knees. He literally hadn't moved at all. Was he unconscious? Amy and I looked at one another and nodded. It was a silent signal to move forward and do whatever we could to help. Oh! He got stabbed. The children vanished as we approached, revealing a horrific sight. Shimada's stomach had been flayed wide open. He was dead. That's why they were there. They were laughing that he died. After he died, they came and they started laughing. He definitely got that scream. The knife he'd flaunted earlier was jutting from the wound. It was an almost ceremonial death, like that of a samurai who'd thrown himself on his sword. Yuya, who'd presumably rushed down to see what was wrong, calmly walked over to Shimada's body. He was checking for signs of respiration or pulse. He turned back to face us again. A moment later, his facial expression said it all. Shimada really is dead. I was beginning to lose it. I just couldn't take it anymore. My friends and acquaintances were dying one by one. I guess I should say had died. But it didn't seem like it was over. Not by a long shot. Hell, it was doing more than trying. It had already succeeded twice over. I was scared, I was paranoid. I was shaking, crying, and screaming inside. I was deathly afraid that something else would show up, and then it did. It was a little girl in a red dress, standing between us in the third floor staircase. I couldn't make out the expression on her face through her bangs, but I could literally feel the hatred in her eyes as she stared into our souls. She then turned around and slid up the staircase into the third floor hallway. Amy was turned the other way, so she hadn't seen the girl at all. She eventually followed our gaze, but by that time the girl was gone. She looked confused. That particular apparition looked a lot different from the other ghosts I'd seen, but there was still no doubt in my mind she was definitely a ghost. Dangerous? Well, that is the direction the girl in the red dress went, and I guess Yuya didn't want me to be in harm's way. I I nodded and watched his back recede into the darkness as he chased after Amy.
落ち着けトウコ。冷静な心にかなう武器はない。今一番大事なことは何？
So I think this is when I think she's running from Kizumi right now. Probably. What was going on? Why was Amy screaming? I could hear voices. Amy and Okawa were in a heated argument. Okay, not yet.
こいつを置いていけないだろう。早く病院へ連れて行かなきゃ。
Hospital?
死んでない死んでない死んでないんだ。
The ghost girl must have been pursuing them.
大変だ。行かなきゃ。何？
人殺し！
Oh, I guess I was right. Katayama's body was sprawled unceremoniously on the hallway up to the 3rd floor, along with Okawa. Look how she's looking at him. At the top of the stairs stood Emi, and in front of her Yuya, with an imposing scowl on his face. I didn't understand any of this. What had just happened? Emi let out another scream and ran towards me downstairs. Okawa then seemed as if he'd fallen and broken his arm. He was lopsidedly crawling towards me. It was almost as if he were trying to distance himself from Yuya.
人殺し！人殺し！
I ran to the base of the stairs to meet up with Emi. I needed some sort of context here.
エミ、何？どうしたの？
逃げろ！逃げろ！殺されるぞ！
Glanced up at Yuya, but his face was shrouded in darkness. I couldn't see or make out any expression at all. Okawa seemed to have reached his breaking point. He shot to his feet and took off behind me towards the 2nd floor, as fast as he could. Yuya kicked Okawa down the stairs? Why?
嘘でしょ。
Slowly, he walked down the landing. He was neither concerned nor scornful. His face was a blank slate. As soon as he reached my level, he bent down and began fiddling with Katayama's body, raising the arms, then dropping them, wiping blood from the ears and nose, then looking at it as if studying the specimen under a microscope. What the hell? He was enjoying this. I finally got to see an emotion written clearly on his face. Was it elation? How was this not some crazy dream? Tears began spilling from my eyes like water. I was shocked, confused. I don't even know what else. Amy and I found ourselves standing in front of the door to the school infirmary.
鍵島田が抜いてなくしちゃったんだよね。こんなとこ逃げ込んでもし見つかったら終わりだよ。下に逃げよう。
The poor girl was frantic. I can't say I blamed her, but well, something about this whole situation just didn't feel right to me.
やっぱり私信じられない。何が？優也があんな優しい優也がひどいことするなんて。
This girl, oh my gosh, man. You're kidding me. I don't believe sweet, kind Yuya is capable of doing this.
だって本当に蹴り落としたのよ。大川を信じられないよ。
Because she just told you what happened. That's how.
じゃあ勝手にすればいいよ。もう。
With that, Amy pushed past me and ran towards the stairwell leading to the first door.
知らない。私のこと嘘つきだって言うんでしょ。
She's too, like, you know, that's crazy. But I was now separated from every one of my friends. But was I really in danger? I mean, I was, but from Yuya? That just didn't seem right. Or even likely. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to believe that this was all a misunderstanding. My legs were shaking, and my head was swimming. I just stood there, unsure of where I should go or what to do. And then there he was, right behind me. And in his hands was Shimada's huge knife. The one that was last seen jutting from Shimada's stomach. It was dripping with blood. This definitely made matters more complicated. How could I doubt Yuya's guilt when he was holding something like that? Why did he even have it? How could he possibly bring himself to pull a knife from his friend's lifeless corpse? But I wasn't gonna run. I turned around and braced myself. I opened my mouth intently, discussing this rationally. If I ran away now, I felt like it would be all over. There would be nothing left to save, No one left to trust. But what could I possibly say to him? What would she say? Why did you do it? Are you alright? Let's save it. I feel like she would ask him, is he alright? My body was visibly shuddering, and I doubted I'd have much of a voice if I tried talking. But I just wanted this to all be a horrible mistake so badly. I knew I had to say something. I knew I had to get through to him. Maybe he was just freaking out. In his own way, this whole experience had been taxing on all of us. And Yuya's only human. He must have been terrified. The first one? Why did you do it? And maybe she's still in denial. She's like trying to rationalize. Well, maybe he's just scared. Maybe he's just this. See? And maybe I could help him get through it. Just get him to talk about what's bothering him and feel a little better. It was worth a shot at least.
Yuya, 大丈夫?
桐崎、浦部と大川はどこだ?
God, he's asking for them. He's like, do you know where they went? Kurisaki.
どうして?
No answer. He just started muttering to himself, slowly. Walked right past me, as if I weren't even there.
ユヤ、何するの? 何持ってるのそれ?
使えそうだ。いろいろ。
やめて、捨ててよ!
No, I couldn't let this go on. I grabbed him by the arm and just clung to him, putting my full weight on his body to keep him from going any further down the hallway. He was at a crossroads, about to walk down a path of no return, and I wasn't gonna lose the kind, considerate Yuya I'd fallen for. Unfortunately, the only tools I had at my disposal for stopping him were my feelings. And those just weren't gonna be enough. I was so startled that it took me a moment before I could even figure out what happened.
同じだ。ここでは。
That was the first time in my entire life that I'd ever been punched in the head. And he put everything he had into it.
この学校に殺されるのも。
I couldn't focus. My brain was still rattling inside my skull from the impact.
俺に殺されるのも。
The world was spinning. I looked up at him, twitching, tear-filled. There was no sign of remorse or compassion whatsoever. He looked like a feudal warrior clutching his sword, staring down at his enemy. The area around my eye was throbbing. It hurt so badly. It felt so swollen and sore. I couldn't even imagine what I must have looked like. And he wasn't done with me. He got in closer and closer, grinning unnaturally as he raised his fist for a second strike. I was running on pure instinct and adrenaline at this point. I shot to my feet and just forced him to carry me to safety, somewhere, anywhere. He was going to kill me. He was really going to kill me. God. Felt something rattling around uncomfortably inside my mouth. So I spit it out into my hand. It was white. A single white tooth with blood red highlights at its roots. That's crazy. He knocked her tooth out. That maniac had actually knocked out one of my teeth. That's how hard he hit her. He was there, just behind me. I panicked, tripping over my own feet and stumbling to the ground, landing between the first and second floor. I'd fallen on my backside, dropping my tooth on the ground next to me. I began slinking away from the encroaching figure of Yuya Kizami. Save me, somebody, anybody, God, please. I was scooting backwards across the floor, too stiff, sore, and scared to stand. But then my hand brushed across something small and metallic, a key. Even with my hand right over it, I was shaking so badly that I could barely work my fingers to get a grip. It was the most frustrating feeling in the world. And for a few seconds, that felt like hours. I just kept trying in vain to pick up the damned key. Finally, I slipped my fingers through the ring. I had it. This was my one and only chance. Scrambling to my feet, I somehow slipped past Yuya. And I ran back up to the second floor as fast as I could to force my shaky legs to carry me. I had the key. I could lock myself in. I could hide in the infirmary. Kizumi did not pursue. Not right away. He just stood there staring. Staring at the tooth that I dropped on the ground. Staring intently, as if trying to make out what he was seeing.
Haka.
Ain't no way. There is no way he just did that. he just... he ate her tooth. That's what I was thinking, dude. Maybe he didn't crush it. I don't know, but he definitely swallowed it. Like he... It sounded like crunching though, right? Yeah. There didn't seem to be any way to lock the door from the inside. I needed to find a hiding place before Yuya showed up. The corner of the room? Under the bed, maybe? I was scanning every inch of the room as quickly as possible, sizing up my surroundings. My eyes stopped on one of the medicine cabinets.
ハサミが置いてある。
He needed the calcium. It felt like such a revelation, like the answer I was looking for. But what was I gonna do with scissors? I don't know, stab keys at me maybe, you know, protect yourself. Was I gonna fight? Fight who, Yuya? I wouldn't stand a chance. I decided to leave them there. What? She can't be for real. She just left the scissors there. I can't fight Yuya. I'm gonna put the scissors back. I stepped back and crouched behind the partitioning screen that was set up in the middle of the room. Guy just ate your tooth. Urabe had ran back to the bathrooms on the third floor to warn Okawa about the imminent threat that was approaching. Unsurprisingly, he was still crouched on the ground, cradling Katayama's lifeless head in his arms. Alright, bro is a little too obsessed with Katayama. I get they were friends and whatever, but I feel like there was more to that. He was still stubbornly insistent that if he were to leave that spot, he'd have to carry Katayama with him.
無理よ、置いて逃げなきゃ捕まるわ。
こいつを置いていけないだろう。早く病院へ連れて行かなきゃ。
もう死んでるわ。
死んでない。死んでない死んでないんだ。
What a stubborn, foolish man. I'd had enough. I decided to rip Katayama's body from Okawa's arms and kick it down the stairs. It made one hell of a thud when it hit the landing, but he was already dead, so what did it matter? As long as it helped getting Okawa moving, I didn't care. See? Look, he's dead. So get your ass off the floor and run.
目を覚ませ。片山はもう死んでいる。早くここから逃げるんだ。
So this is what happened. That's what they're showing.
キサミ
That's why he kicked him down the stairs. Urabe was looking at me, and then at Katayama's body, and then back at me, as if she couldn't make up her mind which was more interesting. But why was she looking at me? Did I have something on my face? Okawa, on the other hand, focused squarely on Katayama. He was trembling all over, but I thought he finally understood. Then he turned towards me. Yelled like a madman and ran down the stairs towards his friend's body. He wasn't exactly in his right mind. However, so those last few steps didn't quite go as planned, and he tripped and fell. So he didn't kick that guy down the stairs. That guy fell down the stairs and broke his arm. But she's looking up at him like, I wasn't the one who killed Katayama. So this is what made him snap. This part. This is the logic. Yeah. There's no way that's it. I got called a murderer, so I guess I'm a murderer now. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, congratulations. I feel like that's not it, but we'll see. Because we still didn't get a conclusion to what happened with the main students. But that's it. Chapter 7 clear. Come on. Testimonies unlocked. Let's see. What do we get? I don't even know what we got.
浦部恵美役を務めさせていただきました森谷さとみです。お疲れ様です。今回も前作に引き続き恵美ちゃんを担当させていただけて本当に嬉しいです。嬉しいんですがこのコープスパーティーの台本はうちで台本チェックをしている時からもう怖くてあらゆる音にもう敏感になっちゃってそんな状態だったんですけれども、さらになんか今回台本読んでたら別の方のセリフでなんかあれだけあいつが釘刺してたのに俺はみたいなセリフがあったんですけど、釘刺すみたいなそういうところにまでなんかヒーみたいななんか全然関係ないところにまでビクビクしながら台本を読んでおりました。はい。収録を終えてですね、エミちゃん以外にもりょうくんとあとカナちゃんと演じさせていただいたんですが、いやーもうエミちゃんは特に叫びまくりました本当にもう今まで叫んだことがないぐらい叫びました。はい。いやーあとこれでもかっていうぐらい幽霊で笑いました。なんかどっちもエネルギーが必要なんだなって改めて思いました。はい、楽しく演じさせていただきました。ぜひぜひこれを聞いてくださってるっていうことはですね、作品をやってくださったのかな、これからかな、わからないんですけれども、はい、ぜひ恐怖を楽しんでください。はい、ありがとうございました。
Oh, I see. So that is not the end. I'm looking it up right now. There is a hidden chapter in this game. It's the actual final chapter, and it leads into the next game. It's called Blood Drive. Interesting. So I have to do something to unlock that. Yeah, that will be the actual final one. It's a hidden secret chapter. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is see if I can get that other ending. So I'm gonna pause and end the stream for now. And then next time, we're gonna do the blood drive, the actual final chapter. So I think there's some extra hoops I have to go through. I have to get, from what it's saying, yeah, I have to get all the bad endings as well to unlock it. We got all the true endings for each chapter, but I also have to get all the bad endings, and then a blood drive will unlock. That's what it's saying. Wow, that's really hidden. That's really hidden. Okay, we'll do that next time. Next time will be blood drive. Yeah, basically 100%. And then you unlock the actual true ending. So when I stream this again tomorrow, that will be the true ending. I'll have everything unlocked by then. I'm gonna end it for now though. Thanks for watching, guys, hanging out. That was a pretty good chapter. We got a conclusion to those students at least. Yeah, the guide was very helpful. That's what I was looking at to figure out if that was actually it. Turns out it wasn't. It says it right there too. Blood drive, the final chapter. And I guess after I beat that tomorrow, I'll probably start the other game too. See you guys later, okay? Take care.